everybody, welcome back. How's it going? I certainly never expected this thing to generate so much, what I want to say, craziness, I guess. I posted on a couple social media sites and it just kind of went whoosh. And I don't know why this thing, I'm certainly not the first person to do this and I am not the best at it. I've never done one. And this one was my practice for the one you're going to see, where I took the front fender off this same car and built a art piece, I guess, for a charity auction at Bus Invasion. And that's the whole reason I wanted to do this rear one. This was the fender that was in the quote-unquote worst shape. They're all pretty bad. This one was twisted down here by the running board. The car was wrecked, the car that it came off of, and it was crashed up pretty bad on this side. People are thinking it's photoshopped. It is not photoshopped. It is actually cut. I cut a real fender. People are also saying it's gonna not last, it's gonna collapse, it's super fragile. It's not. You can grab a hold of it and it'll actually, if I move it, it'll move the whole car. So it maintained most of its rigidity. And this is an original German bumper, so that helped. But I mean, it's solid. I mean, you can push on it and it will flex and bend, but so will that other one if I go over there and do the same thing to it. It doesn't want to push in anywhere, even in the areas back here where there's more surface area. So I think sheerly because of the nature of the design of the fender, those two curves are working towards each other, and you know an arch will support itself in the center. So just because of the shape of it, I think that's partly why it stayed so strong. I was shocked by it, honestly. I expected it to be really flimsy, and it isn't. Went ahead and ran what we had as a taillight on there, and it doesn't look terrible. Be better with a snowflake the way I cut it, but it actually kind of looks weird because it looks like there's maybe nothing behind that taillight. I'll show some pictures at the end, and I'll probably do a quick video at the end of it backlit. It looks kind of interesting backlit. We haven't run it down the road backlit yet. The light would have to be red or amber if it was backlit running down the road because it's in the back of a car. The side you'd be okay, I think, but because all the light's going to shine back here as well, we'd have to have a amber or a red light. I had a ton of fun cutting them, and the purist in me was kind of dying inside, but the artist in me kind of came alive. So we kind of have to, the worst evil one, I think, in this case. So we're going to jump over to building the charity donation. And I don't know if the folks that bought it want me releasing how much they paid for it. So we'll just keep that to ourselves. But I was very pleased with how well it did. And I was going to buy it back if it didn't hit a certain mark. And it far exceeded that. So with that, let's jump over to the front fender from a crashed car. See what we can do with it. As you can see, I have another fender from the same junkyard car as the back fender I cut. I'll put a picture here if you didn't get to see it. You can go check it out. But my plan is to plasma cut this kind of in a similar design. And put a headlight in it that has just a soft bulb. Put an Edison bulb or something, leave the lens off of the turn signal, just put a bare bulb showing, and then backlight it. So plasma cut it out. I'll have to be kind of careful around the headlight area because the bucket, sticks out. So I think it'll look kind of ugly if that's showing through your plasma cuts. So I'm going to try to stay kind of right here. That was a nice thing about the rear fender. I didn't have to worry about that. Rear fender was just my practice for this piece. Bus Invasion is coming up this weekend, and this is going to be my donated piece to the auction. They have a silent auction, so I think if we just plasma cut and then up around, we can kind of use our liberties here. I'll just try to be a little careful around this area. Might be able to go like maybe do something that kind of files down to a point back from there, because I don't think the top would be quite as bad. It's just mainly this side gotta be careful of. I have the perfect lens for the headlight. I have one that has a bullet hole in it. And it didn't shatter the entire lens, which is kind of cool. So I think that will, let's see, that way. That will do nicely there. And I even found a horn grill that has all 4 tabs broke off. So I certainly don't care to use that since it's not going on a car. We can just glue it on there. Although somebody may put it on a car, but my intent is not for it to go on a car. So why don't we kind of get a few of the areas. There's some mud on top. Need to wipe off. And get a few of the areas that are just kind of peeling pretty bad. Just kind of hit with the wire wheel. Or maybe not. I may not need to worry about it. And then we'll get some stencil sprayed on here and get this thing plasma cut. I think it's going to look pretty cool. Problem is I'm going to want to keep it. Yeah, let's get this thing cut up. I moved outside because it was a little bit chilly in the shop with the door open. If I'm on a plasma cut, I want to keep the door open. And in the sun, it's a little bit warmer. But I cut a couple of stencils. I just went online and printed some folk art, I guess. Folk art flowers. And I just cut them out of like window. It's on like a window plastic laminate. Super thin, so they were real easy to cut. And then I just got along with spray paint and kind of sprayed a pattern down. I think is going to work. Again, I tried to stay away from this area. I learned when I cut the other one that I needed to put my stencils a little closer together. So hopefully I've kind of done that here. There's a dead spot right there. I don't know what I want to put there. May have to just make something up when I'm cutting. I kind of consider throwing the stencil on kind of, it's a little bit like cheating. I like the free-handedness of when I cut the saws, but this does allow you to kind of keep some uniformity to the pattern. So I like that technique, and it's very quick. Just go along and you just spray it and then come back and cut it back out. So let me get the plasma cutter kind of set up where we got a little extra cord out here. And let's see what this one looks like. Well, there it is, pretty much all cut the way I'm going to cut it. So you spray the stencil on and you cut that out first and then go back in and just kind of remove material to kind of give it that lace look. I think this one's better than the first one I did. So I am, I think, done with the plasma cutting. I'm debating on whether or not to go back in here and kind of do a little something, but I think keeping this the same height around here is good. Got the one flower up there, but put the horn ring in here, that'll kind of set that off right there. Yeah, I think it looks decent. I did do a better job of keeping the pattern tighter on this one. I think it's okay. I think it'll do. So a few spots where I had paint that I need to go back and take some steel wool over it to kind of remove that. I decided I wouldn't clean these before I cut them because then there's so much debris and junk on them that the paint doesn't really stick very well, just enough to get me to get a pattern. So I should be able to go in and remove that pretty easily. There's a couple spots where it's like that. Yeah, it looks pretty good. It's hard to get it with it sitting on that grate. I think it's gonna look okay. Let me set it in here in the shop and we'll see. Put a light behind it and see what it looks like. Just want to mention real quick, someone was asking me about the rigidity of it, and if you leave this lip right here that I left and the back, it's fine. So it's just lighter weight. It's really not a whole lot different in how rigid it is. So I've just got the fender kind of leaning against me. I've got a light where my socket is going to be on the back side. I've got the turn signal put on and the headlight, which you can't see. But I think where the light's going to be there, the only place that we're not getting a ton of light is down here, so I'm going to have to wire a second light. But check this out. Isn't that awesome? So cool. Hanging on a wall, this would be so cool. Yeah. I'll flip the lights back on. I think we might need one more light, because down here we're just not getting a ton of light from that. Yeah, let me turn the lights on. I'll show you what I did. When you step back, it's not bad. I don't know. I don't want any wiring or sockets to be seen, if I can help it. So there's our bullet hole lens. I wired a E12, which is a small candelabra socket up front, so there'll be a little bulb in there. And if I could get something that's like the amber, like the turn signals used to be, the little amber bulbs that are in there. Oh, I need to put the horn grill back in too. So I gotta take this off at some point to put that bulb in. But there's already a hole for the wiring for that to come out. And then like, I'm out of bulbs. I didn't have any small candelabra bulbs. And then an E12 socket like this fits perfectly in there. Didn't have to even drill anything out. Just had to take the old socket guts out. I wish I had a lens. I don't even have an orange one. And then I just stuck that light to the back side of the bucket. There's another hole back there. Comes out for where the harness, the wiring harness would come in. Yeah. It's gonna be good. It needs to be cleaned. Like this area here where I got paint on it. I need to take that off. And oil it. I think it definitely needs to be oiled. But the pattern that it makes on the wall is something I didn't anticipate being so cool. That's really cool. I like it. I need to cut one for myself now. I think it's kind of cool. I kind of got it just hodgepodge wired. The headlight bucket itself is wired. Turn signal is wired, comes in. Some of my wires in the back coming off the turn signal I can see, so I need to kind of button those up a little neater. But that looks pretty good, I think. There is a bulb on the back side of the headlight bucket, the factory hole that was there. Just made it a little bit bigger and put a a E12 candelabra socket through it. The thread kind. I go on, buy these on Amazon. This is my test socket. They just have a threaded piece. That one's threaded way down, but can't get it to go. Anyway, that is what these bulbs go in, and they're just an E12. That's what they are. So I got a couple different ones to try on the bulbs. I think this is the combo I like. Let me go let's kill the lights and make sure the ambiance is the right feel for what we want. And then we'll clean it up, and I'm going to put a vintage type cord on it, not this. I just have that with twist wire nut connectors so I could test it, make sure everything's working. Yeah, let's kill the lights, see what it looks like. Let's get this one. And this one. I think that's about the right amount of light coming from that back one. I thought about putting a second bulb down here, but I don't think we need it. I think we're good. Yeah, looks okay. We're even getting enough light over here, I think. I'm gonna pick it up and see if we still get a reflection on the garage door, because that bulb is certainly not as bright as what I had in there. Oh yeah. Certainly not as bright, but we're still getting a reflection. Reflection on the floor. Down there. Yeah, I think that'll work just fine. I like that. Now, just gotta make a stand for it, and then we're done. Well, this shop is an absolute mess, but it's all done. It's wired. I put some vintage wire cording on it. You can see a little bit of it there. It's all wired up, ready to go. It's oiled. I put a little plate down here. It says Bus Invasion 2021. I signed it. It is number 2 is what I wrote on it. I had to put underneath that plate is lead ballast that I poured in there. And then I put a hunk of lead here because after I got the headlight in, it wants to be kind of top heavy. I didn't want it tipping over. Let me kill the rest of the lights here. Hang on. So there it is in all its glory. Block that light. I think it's pretty cool. You got the pattern on the back wall there. Had to do something to come up with a way to display it, so that's why I came up with the little base that it's on. And I just oiled the base so that it didn't have to paint it. Got a little kickstand. The light's blinding you, but there's a little kickstand to the light to give it some support this way. I should have probably put one back there, but this one you can't really see, and it's pretty stable. So I think we are ready to get her done. Let's get it shown off. Hopefully they like it. All right, to Bus Invasion we go. And regarding how I'm gonna treat this and prevent it from kind of rotting out, I'm gonna let it rust just a little bit on the bare areas that I've exposed now to bare metal, and just kind of let it get a little bit of surface rust, just a little bit of buildup on it, kind of mimic this area here. We'll just let it kind of build up a little bit, and then I will treat that, just wire wheel it briefly, and then I'll treat it with a combination of a mixture of boiled linseed oil and turpentine, and then we'll take it out in the sun and give it a good baking so it's not sticky. But I think that's how we're gonna go about it. And then on the inside of the fender, I'll probably either just treat it with oil or spray it with that just lost it on the tip of my tongue. OSPO, the rust converter rust treatment. It's really not too rusty on the inside. It's in pretty decent shape. So just maybe brush on some of that on the inside of the fender and then coat it with oil. We should be good to go. So for now, we're gonna run this on there and we'll just kind of see where it goes. See how long it lasts. It may rot away by next week. I don't know. We'll see. Well, that looks pretty cool. All I did was lay a strip of LEDs, remote controlled. Here's the remote in my hand that you can't see. These can run to, you can get these as a 12 volt. I've got just a set in there that's a USB hookup. But the cool thing about them, they're remote controlled. And if I can find the right button in the dark here, there we go. Check that out. Yeah, that's cool. I like it. He's gonna hate it, but I don't care. He'll get over it. It's not permanent. Let's just go to green. We can find the right button here. I kind of like the green. Is that it? It's too hard to see out here. What was the green I liked? Right there? I don't know. This one? Nah. I think it was that one. Yeah, that looks pretty good. That's just enough light, I think. So we'll go with something about like that. What's the red look like? Think we could drive down the road with that? What's it look like from behind? See, I don't like that you can see the strip there. I'd have to fix that. That would bug me. Put some kind of something on it to kick that back a little bit. Yeah, that would look pretty good though. It really looks like lace with the light behind it. All right, everybody. I'm gonna call it. Thanks so much for being here. We had a little too much fun on this one. We'll catch you on the next one. Maybe we can come up with a way to do something else a little weird. Appreciate you being here. Thanks, everybody.